Hello and welcome everyone. I'm the Upper Down, and today I'm going to be playing some Dark Souls 2. This is arguably one of my favorite games. I love the replayability that this game has, the customization, the different move sets. I'm going to go ahead and start a new character here.
Perhaps you've seen it, maybe in a dream, a murky, forgotten land. A place where souls may mend your ailing mind.
Also, the graphics in these cinematics are just
You will lose everything
fantastic.
once branded, the symbol of the curse, an augur of darkness. Your past, your future, your very light. None will have meaning, and you won't even care. By then, you'll be something other than human. A thing that feeds on souls, a hollow. Long ago, in a walled-off land far to the north, a great king built a great kingdom. I believe they called it Drang Lake. Perhaps you're familiar. No, how could you be? But one day, you will stand before its decrepit gate without really knowing why.
Reflection of the fully formed castle before it went into ruins.
Like a moth drawn to a flame, your wings will burn in anguish, time after time.
You will go hollow.
For that is your fate, the fate of the cursed.
make our way over to the three witches to get set up with our class. Few items to pick up along the way here. Hopefully I don't get killed by the big guy again here. Just gonna lure him down the path a little bit. And yes, I am playing on controller. Makes things a little bit more challenging sometimes. Grab the item just over the edge of the waterfall. Alright, and let's go meet the witches.
What seems to be the ruckus? Oh my, your face. The face of the curse. It's an undead. An undead has come to play. They all end up here. All the ones like you. You spoke to that kind old dear, didn't you? You're finished. You'll go hollow. Yes, you'll become one of them. Hollows prey upon men, feast upon their souls. This is the fate of the cursed. What is your name?
We are, of course, the Upper Down.
At least you know your own name.
We do indeed.
Here's your reward for sharing. It's a human effigy.
One of the most important items in the game.
Take a closer look.
Helps to restore your
Who do
humanity.
you think it's supposed to be? Think back, deep into your past. Yes, it's an effigy of you.
Alright, so I always like to start out as the Explorer class. Gives you a few different items that might be of use, and it also starts you off with just a dagger, which is a little more challenging without going fully deprived. As for my gift, I always like to start out with the Petrified Something, a simple petrified lump. It may be of some use someday. Alright, over to body. Gender, we will keep the same. As for my build, I like to be a little bulkier. And let's be ripped, because why not? Looks pretty good to me.
All people come to break the curse. You're no different, I should think. Doesn't stand a chance. Well, you never know. Go through the door and trot along to the kingdom. But remember, hold on to your souls. They're all that keep you from going hollow. Oh, I'll fool you no longer. You lose your souls. All of them. Over and over again.
We would, however, like to avoid that. I usually try to avoid losing any souls in my playthroughs if possible. And opening the first chest here, we have obtained a human effigy, which will restore our humanity in the event that we die. Let's go ahead and rest at the first bonfire here. I see an item. Not too sure which way I want to build my character, whether I want to lean more towards magic or more towards melee. But I'm definitely going to want to use a bow at some point. I like the control afforded by the bow as opposed to magic. There are ways around not being able to aim your spells, such as using a pair of binoculars, for example, but that's just a bit too complicated for me. Alright, about halfway done with the starting area here. Alright, we've encountered the crow's nest here. We'll be able to leave our small, smooth, and silky stone that we found earlier. And they will give us a magic stone. We can also leave the petrified something, and they should give us an item for that as well. Ah, old whip. Almost fell off the edge of the cliff there. That would not have been a good sign. Oh boy, jumping. See if we can do an aerial attack here. And since I'm playing the quote-unquote vanilla version of this game, there is not a statue here blocking this path. If you're playing the Scholar of the First Sin edition, the remaster, there will be a statue standing here preventing you from proceeding to this door. I'm going to bait the archer here into shooting. Gives me enough time to kick the tree down before his next shot. Okay, you have to be careful with this drop. I have very often attempted it and missed ever so slightly, taken the fall damage, and died as a result. As such, proceed through the fog gate here. Should be an enemy ambush here. Now there is an enemy down here. If you attempt to run directly at it, the enemy hiding around the corner here will come out and ruin your day. Unfortunately, at the moment, we are not strong enough to take them both on, so we will simply open up this path for later. The juxtaposition coming out of this cave and seeing this beautiful sunset is just chef's kiss. Few items to pick up here. A divine blessing. There is also a hidden path here that you can drop down onto. Which leads us to a morning star and a sacred chime. And then as well, there is a pair of binoculars over here. Good for that magic aiming strat that I mentioned not long ago. We'll go ahead and activate the bonfire here.
Are you the next monarch? Or merely a pawn of fate? Bearer of the curse, I will remain by your side till this frail hope shatters. Take this with you. May it ease your journey.
Alright, she has just given us the Estus Flask. That will be one of the major heals that we have access
Go
to.
on and see the king. He who made Drangleic what it once was. He who peered at the essence of the soul. King Vendrick. Bearer of the curse, seek misery. For misery will lead you to greater, stronger souls. You will never meet the king with a soul so frail and pallid.
We must build our strength.
Seek those whose names are unutterable. The four endowed with immense Once you have found them, return here to me, so that hope will not fade away. Bearer of the curse, seek souls, larger, more powerful souls. Seek the king. That is the only way. Lest this land swallow you whole, as it has so many others.
Alright, this is the Emerald Herald. She is our only means of leveling up and upgrading the Estus Flask. At the moment, we do not possess the means to level the character up, but these are the starting stats. We are currently level 10. We have 7 in Vigor, 6 in Endurance, 9 in Vitality, 7 in Attunement, 6 in Strength, 6 in Dexterity, 12 in Adaptability, 5 in Intellect, and 5 in Faith. Now, each of these stats does something different for the character. Intellect and Faith both respectively influence different damage types, as well as casting speed. We have Adaptability here, which deals with resistances, and Agility, which has a hidden modifier to increase your speed when rolling and when doing backstep and other frame rate, iframe related moves. We have Dexterity here. Dexterity primarily influences ranged weapons and polearms, things of that sort. Strength primarily influences melee weapons, short range melee weapons, as well as very heavy weapons. Attunement, that deals with the casting speed and the number of spell slots that you can have. At the moment, our character does not have any spell slots. They will be unlocked at different thresholds. I believe 10 is the first, and then 13, 16, and so on. Vitality, that impacts equipment load, the maximum amount of items that you can have equipped to your character at a time due to weight constraints. Endurance, that will increase our stamina. Stamina will deplete much faster depending on the type of weapon you use, and increasing your stamina bar will help you to achieve your maximum damage output from said weapons. And Vigor primarily increases health. I believe it is 30 health per level until you hit level 20 in Vigor, and then it drops down. I believe it is 15 or 20 after that. Now, all the rest of the skills will increase health as well, but to a much less degree than Vigor would. So we will come back to that once we have some currency to spend. And let's go ahead and meet our next NPC.
You're undead, aren't you? You have that distinct scent, the smell of irreversible fate. This is Majula. It is a kind of settlement, a place where life is almost normal. And in Drang Lake these days, there are very few places like that. I am Solden, and like you, I lost everything, and now I'm here. You probably heard that it was possible to break the curse here. Well, that's not true at all. There's nothing here for you, me, or anybody. Do you know much about souls? Even I'm not certain, but I'm told that the soul is the essence of life itself. Nothing living, sentient or no, supposedly has one. What we call the curse is traceable to the soul. Do you see what that means? To be alive, to walk this earth. That's the real curse, right there. We undead will never die. And that's quite a predicament, really. There are 4 beings in this land with giant souls. And wherever you go from here, you'll sooner or later come up against them. Each has a powerful soul and a terrible curse. If that frightens you, then you want to just give up right now, like I have. Do you ever cry out for help? The journey of an undead is long and treacherous. You'll face invaders from other worlds at every turn. If you need help, why not proclaim faith in the Blue Sentinels? When you face danger, the Blue Sentinels will come to your aid. Protection is yours, if you wish. You need only accept their kind embrace.
Alright, so I typically recommend at least joining the Way of the Blue Covenant to start because it gives you a ring which will slightly increase your health. And even if you leave the Way of the Blue Covenant, you still get to keep the ring, so there's really no downside to doing it. Now, the Way of the Blue Covenant is more or less an online covenant. They, when you are invaded by enemies, will come to your aid and help fend them off. So yes, we will go ahead and join the covenant. We receive the blue seal.
That is a wise decision. People are weak, but the Blue Sentinels watch over us in their benevolence. Let the Sentinels cradle you in their embrace.
If we talk to him once more, we can learn a gesture from him.
Do you feel lonely here? It suits me just fine, as I've nothing left anyway. It will grow on you, this place. Give it some time.
We have learned the welcome gesture.
May you find peace on your journey.
We have quite a few gestures here that we have to work with. So our next NPC in town here is the blacksmith.
Who are you? Oh, it doesn't matter. Just help me open this door. I packed my tools in here, seeing it was vacant. But now somebody's gone and locked the door. I'm a blacksmith. I'm nothing without my tools. Bring me that key. Chop chop.
Alright, so he wants us to find a key to unlock the door to his blacksmith shop. Alright, let's go ahead and talk to our next NPC here.
Oh, undead are we? And one without much time remaining. resting with a cat. Well, suit yourself. Oh yes, you may call me Shalqua. Enchanté.
Enchanté,
So,
mademoiselle.
what did you want anyway? Ooh, you smell wonderful.
Okay, so Xiaoqua primarily deals with rings and other consumable items. There are a few good ones that she sells. Ring of the Evil Eye. Absorb HP from each defeated foe. So while equipped and defeating enemies, they will slowly heal you as you defeat them. Silver Cat Ring reduces damage from falling. This is actually a very important item to have for a later event. It will reduce fall damage from falls that you take. Red Eye Ring, easier to be detected by enemies. Equipping this ring will increase the aggro radius, if you will, of different enemies. Name Engraved Ring, easier to connect to players who choose the same god. So, being in different covenants and having this ring equipped will allow you to connect to players who also follow that same covenant. And Ring of Whispers. It allows you to hear the voices of foes. This serves two purposes. First, it will allow you to hear enemies that may be nearby that you can't see, essentially alerting you to potential ambushes. Second, it will also allow you to speak to a certain NPC who normally would not be able to be spoken to. So that is an important item to have later on. And as far as consumables, we have the Homeward Bone. Return to the last bonfire rested at. This is essential, especially if you're trying to go for a no bonfire run, which would mean no resting at the bonfire itself, but simply igniting it will trigger the Homeward Bone to refresh you to that location when used. The Prism Stone emits light and marks one's path. Using these, I believe, will light up in dark spaces, showing you the way you've come. Alluring Skull lures certain types of enemies. So throwing this out at a certain location will divert enemies' attention over to said skull. And finally, we have the Lloyd's Talisman. This will block Estus recovery within a limited area. So if you are fighting against another player, or against an enemy that has the ability to use an Estus Flask, and you pop one of these, it will then prevent the enemy from using Estus. Alright, so she does have the option to abandon Covenant, so choosing that option will remove you from whichever Covenant you happen to be in, and she can also display the level that you have within the Covenant that you're a part of. Now, if I say we're part of this covenant and left to join another one, my new covenant would show up here as well, while also showing the rank of the previous covenant that I was in. So, nice way to keep track of everything.
Nothing suited you, I presume? Well, that's dismaying.
Alright, so there is a well here. On this well is a rock with a rope tied to it. If we knock that rope into the well, we will get an item. An Estus Flask Shard. Estus Flask Shards are used to upgrade the Estus that we just received from the Emerald Herald. So we will head over and talk with her in a moment. We have one more NPC to meet.
Hello there. Welcome to my shop. I'm Morlin, and I sell armor. Oh, sorry, Please do have a look at my wares. If you'd be so kind.
This gentleman here, Malin the Armorer, sells different types of armor, shields, pretty much everything else. Now, upon purchasing items from this vendor, he will eventually upgrade his stock. I believe the maximum that you need to spend is 15,000, and when you do, he will start carrying various boss souls, armor, and provide you also with a unique set of armor. More on that later.
Well, I do hope I see you again.
Alright, we're going to go ahead and proceed upstairs here to gather the crafting material we need from his chest. One Titanite shard. Alright, let's go back over and talk to the Emerald Herald here, so we can upgrade our Estus Flask.
Bearer of the curse, seek souls, larger, more powerful souls. Seek the king. That is the only way. Lest this land swallow you whole, as it has so many others.
Alright, we have upgraded the Estus Flask. Let's go ahead and equip that here. Won't be needing any of these other things on my bar for the time being. We'll also equip our Blue Seal ring and our other dagger. Rest to restore my health back to full. We've gained a rusted coin. Rusted coins are luck-based increasing items. They will increase your chance to get certain drops. Gate immediately shuts behind you. Alright, there is a chest right down here. This will have a human effigy in it. Let's go ahead and make the jump here. Homeward Bone and Soul of a Lost Undead. Now, depending on whether you're playing the original version or the remaster, there is an enemy that does patrol in this water. He is rather tough, especially for a beginner, so do be careful if you are playing the remaster. There's a nice little cubby hole over here with a bonfire. Let's go ahead and rest here. Well, not rest per se, but light the bonfire. So now if we die, we will respawn at that location. Got me with no stamina. Let's go ahead and trigger the ambush here. hollow infantry boots. Nice backstab. Backstabbing with a knife is one of the highest damage output attacks that you can do in the early stage of the game. It does more in a single attack than pretty much anything else. Nice little ambush here. There's an archer up top. Let's go take care of him. Archer can actually hit you from down there if he aims right. Caught me while I was swinging. Alright, we have obtained a short sword and more souls. Alright, down here to the side there is an item that we can actually get. You have to be careful with this jump. If you jump too short, you will die. Soul of a nameless soldier and a throwing knife. Throwing knives to me are essentially less effective arrows. They don't do nearly as much damage, and you can't accurately control where they go. This big fellow here, I see absolutely no reason to interfere with. He is non-hostile, and will absolutely ruin my day if I try to mess with him. Alright, and that's it for this little area. We're going to continue over here. Oh, almost forgot about the ambush. It's another ambush here. He will immediately try to jump thrust as soon as you round the corner, so be prepared for that. Another ambush here, just as you approach the door. Ah, he got me. Thought I was quick enough. Health is getting a little low here. Gonna go ahead and pop an Estus. Heal myself up a bit. Have to be careful here. There is an enemy up top that throws fire bombs, and they do hurt. Don't want to get caught by that. Hollow infantry gloves. Starting a set. Got ourselves a shield. I ran out of stamina. There is another ambush here if you attempt to open the door before rounding this corner. This enemy will come right at you. We'll go ahead and open the door here. But before I go in there, I'm actually going to jump down here. I want to take out some of these enemies before I go up and talk to the next NPC. Oop. Little jump here. And there's usually another enemy waiting for you just down here. Ah. Here we are. You could run directly down there to try to fight him, but that will set off the ambush. Much easier to fight this way. Hollow infantry gloves again. Go ahead and get the backstab. Now you can break all of these statues, but I unfortunately have had no luck getting any items out of any of them. So it's more of a hassle than it's worth in my opinion. Now there is at the end of this tunnel a fire salamander, so be careful running down here as he can quickly kill you. Now if you start opening the door as he's firing, you will get into an animation that prevents damage. Nice little tip. Ah, I forgot about that ambush. Fire longsword. That will come in handy later when we have the stats to wield it. Another hidden item here. 3 life gems. That'll replenish the life gems we've used so far. Now there is an item sitting over here. Unfortunately, you cannot reach that item yet. There's more that you have to do later to get over there before you'll be able to get down there. So for now, we will continue on. Alright, up top here there is a little room off to the right. If you try to open this door normally, it will say it's locked and simply prevent you from opening it. However, you can attack this door and break it down. Depending on which version of this game you're playing, there will either be an enemy in the corner over here, or a Titanite lizard right about here. Killing the lizard will give you upgrade materials that you can use. That enemy is going to wait most likely until I'm in this room trying to open the chest. Yep, here he comes. Knew he was coming and I still got hit anyway. Alright. Enemy down. Let's open the chest. Another Estus Flask shard and a small white soapstone. Now these small white soapstones are player summoning items. If you place one down, you have the option to be summoned by another player who may need help with a boss fight. We have acquired a divine blessing here. Let's go ahead and ignite the bonfire and have a chat with our NPC here.
Anything. Oh, come now, help an old woman and buy something.
Alright. Merchant Hag Melentia. She sells a few different items. She's kind of a variety pack here. We have weapons, we have some armor. She sells a bunch of consumables as well as a few magic spells. Now, the first item we want to buy is Leningrad's Key. Opens the blacksmith Leningrad's shop in Majula. Eventually, when we have the souls to do so, we will purchase the Pharaoh's Lockstone, which activates Pharaoh's contraptions. There are quite a few of them spread throughout the game. We will come across them very soon, I believe. Brightbug, which inflicts more damage and causes you to receive less. They are a very powerful item to have, especially early on. Throwing knives. Throw at enemies to inflict damage. There are a bunch of varieties to the throwing knives. You have bleed, you have poison, but the one that you have access to at the beginning of the game is just a basic physical damage. We have witching urns, which explode to deal magic damage. Pretty good against enemies that have a higher physical resistance, but a lower magical resistance. Firebomb explodes, inflicting fire damage. Good to have those early on, especially since there are certain obstacles that you can't get around any other way. Amber Herb slightly restores spell uses, good for casters. Life Gem slightly restores health. We have 28 of them at the moment. Human effigy. Reverses hollowing. We have 4. She sells the merchant set, as well as a broken straight sword, a hand axe, a club, and a fist weapon. Castus. Alright, guys, and that brings us to the end of today's episode. Thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to like and subscribe if you're watching from YouTube. If you're watching from Twitch, please hit that follow button and follow me for more. Alright, until next time.